So how did I do this? Okay, so generally I just take, like in this case, I'll just show you for the purpose of the demo, there's 6 pieces of wire here about 12 inches long. Now this will depend on how big the tree you want. And then you just fold it in half like this. Right? And then twist your trunk. So there's the start of your trunk, and then you separate these out. Let's see. So we had 6, so that'll be 12 now. So 3, 1, 2, 3. So there's 4 secondary. 4 secondary limbs. And twist those. Start to twist those. Now this is where you start to get into a zone, right? You're gonna have to do. I mean, if you don't want to do this, well then there's other methods, I guess. But I actually like doing this. It's relaxing for me. And the trees are stunning that you end up with. So you basically wind up your secondary limbs like so, and then this is how you create more limbs. You just fold one of them like this. Like that. Just loop it. I'd use lighter wire. I'm just using the heavier wire here for the purposes of this video. And then you just grab a loop and you twist it like this. Okay? Okay? And then I can take this and then run it, the 2 of these. See, with the lighter wire, you won't need pliers. I mean, this starts to get a bit tough, but so then I want to do another one, so I loop it and twist, right? And then I can even loop this one back if I want. Okay? Let's move these other ones out of the way for now. You can just bend this wire constantly here. So then all I do for this then is I just cut the loop. You get the idea? Okay, so I've applied the second layer here and it's set up. It only took about maybe 15 minutes. Like when you thin that glue and it's the temperature's good, in the room, it kicks pretty fast. So look how much has come off already, see? Like I've already swept this clean, but this is just from picking away. So what I want to do is take this pick or anything, a knife, whatever, and I want to, tease some of that out. Okay. Imagine that the tree you're building a winter tree. I can save all that, see? There's nothing wrong with that. Let's see what happens here. See? Just keep plucking away. This will go a long ways when it's thinned down, and you'll see. I'm going to show it to you after I airbrush it what it looks like before I flock it. Okay. Okay, so how's everybody doing? So we're going to do a little bit of flocking on this apple tree. We'll call this the apple tree here. But before I do that, I'll just quickly explain to you what color I painted it. So you get a better look at it here. So what I used is this like typical rail brown again. And how I mix that is just with flat black and then this XF79 linoleum deck brown, 25% to 75%, give or take. Just black, pour brown, and I don't measure anything. I stopped measuring paint ratios 30 years ago. Anyway, I'm the kind of guy that likes to shoot from the hip, you know. Like Doc Holliday, when he plugs the guy, instead of pointing and aiming, he just flipped it up from the hip and got him. Anyway, so that I painted this tree that color, so it's a dark brown, and then I dusted the top, just the top, with earth, XF52. And then I hit it with a little bit of light sky gray, another little light dusting, and this is very thin too, right? With isopropyl once again. So now with the flocking procedure, what I'm going to do here, I just want to show you what I'm going to use, and I'm really sorry I can't remember where I got this, but I'll show you an alternative, and I'll talk about this in a second. You can use this here, Coarse Turf by Woodland Scenics. It works really good. This stuff looks fantastic. But I'm going to use this. It's like little tiny leaves. You know, I think I got it from, I don't know if it's Knock or some of you might know. Maybe you can make a comment below for those that know about this. These tiny little confetti. Different. It's light green on one side and dark on the other. And they're tiny little round flat leaves. So that's what I'm going to use for this tree here. I'm just going to work a little bit at a time, and I don't have much of this left. It's like gold dust to me now. So I'm going to use it sparingly. So anyway, it took a little bit of LePage's wood glue again, my friend, carpenter's glue, and then I'm just going to add some water. I'm going to thin it down pretty good. There. 50-50 water or so, because I don't want it to build up too much on these little branches. I don't want to lose, I mean, I suppose it won't matter that much, but so let's just start with one. So it's a model, right? Okay, so I'll have 450 of these trees, please. Okay, can I get an advance, because it's going to take me 2 or 3 years, but anyway, so I'm just going to lay some on here. This is going to be right in the foreground by that little yard office, and I'm thinking I might put it to the left instead of the right where the ties are. I might put it out back where the can is. I think it'll look better there. Anyway, that's what I'm thinking right now, but I'll just try this and sprinkle on a little bit of this. So let me just zoom in for you, okay? Sorry for the shaky camera thing. I don't have the best zoom set up here, but if I can just get in a bit closer there. Now, I don't know if you can see that, but that just looks fantastic. Those little leaves like that. I mean, I can airbrush that later, but I'm really liking that. Okay. So let's do another section right here. 50-50 carpenter's glue, just wetting those 12mm Woodland Scenic static grass fibers, right? Notice how careful I am with retrieving this. I don't want to lose any of it. Yeah, just very little, you know. Make sure I don't contaminate this as I'm going to collect all this. Anyway, I'm really liking that. I'm quite happy now with the tree the way it's starting to look. See that? Okay, so I'm going to flock the rest of it, and then I'll show you when it's done, okay? Okay, so here's the apple tree, probably pretty close to finished. I'll tweak a few things, but you gotta like that, eh? See, very little, like this on there, right? And just a good portion of this will probably shake off, but the glue's still probably a little wet, but it starts to kick pretty fast, the carp glue. But I'm pretty happy with that. I really am. Like, I think the way this tree's looking is pretty much the way I visualize it. And it doesn't always work out that way, but I'm pretty happy with this little tree. Okay, so I need to add this in as a type of addendum because it's very important, and I'll tell you a couple reasons why. Number one, if you're going to do any other tree that I'm going to show down the road here, like an evergreen type Douglas fir, hemlock, ponderosa pine, western red cedar, it goes on and on. And you want to have a distinctive look like that, like a vignetted group of trees to help enhance the region you're modeling. Maybe it's approach to a bridge, like I mentioned earlier, or just a little signature scene. This is very important, this flocking method that I'm going to point out to you, and I'll just draw it here for you to make it more clear, okay? So that this is what we want, this kind of branch work. Okay, so if this is the wire limb, it can be just a plain wire like that, or it can be tapered with the textured paste that looks like this. All right, so we're dealing with a model tree here, right? Forget about 12 trees, 10 trees. Just forget all about that. Let's focus on one tree as a specific model, like when you built the tank or the plane or the car. Like, let's treat the tree that way, okay? Worry about 12, 24, 36 trees later, right? Like, that'll all come, and then you'll realize that what you learn now on the one specific feature tree, if you learn to master it, you'll have trees down. So number one is we have a wire branch like this, okay? And when we lay on the 12 mil static grass, right? I'll just show you quick, right? This here, all right? It's just this fiber, and then it's basically applied, like, not individually. That's like insane, right? It's where you take like a clump like this with, like, you apply like glue, just like 1/3 of the branch like this, right? Carpenter's glue. I don't use 3M spray for this particular type of approach here. I've used it before. That has a different application altogether. When we do that, then we stab on like this, right? Okay? And all that extra gets reused. And then what happens is we end up with this kind of thing. All right? Now, we don't want this. If you put too much glue on and you put too much static grass, 2 or 3 apps, or just even one with a big glob of 3M, whatever, and you end up with this. You end up with a matte. You can just forget about this look here. You just killed it. Push it to the background and start again. Less is better, okay? Here's the problem with trees when we model trees. We're so indoctrinated as we drive, we live, we take our kids out, our wives, our spouses, our children, whatever, we're out in the world, we see trees like, infinitely. Like it leaves an impression on our mind. We just see shapes. We don't actually stop and study a tree, right? So we become indoctrinated. So it's really hard to get away from this and to start doing this. But this is the key, because if you learn less is better, this is what we get, see? And you also get this look when you treat it like a model and build the tree first. All right, so that's what I want to get across. You can see here that, you can even come back here too, like as you turn the tree around, there might be some strands that you want to touch up, you know, like maybe here, there's a little bit there. I mean, it's up to you, right? And then you can come back at it and sprinkle a bit more on. But we want this because then you got light shining through and then you get this kind of look. Okay. This is the look we want right here. And you'll have a really nice tree. Okay? Stay away from this. No. Yes.